of Mauro Gusto, Wesley Fofana, Trevor Chalobah and Marc Cucurella. Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo are the two holders in midfield. There's Pedro Neto, João Pedro and Alejandro Garnacho supporting Liam Delap, who leads the line. For the visitors, it's Sam Johnston in goal, a back four of Santiago Bueno, Totti Gomez and Ladislav Krejci. Midfield forward of Hugo Bueno, João Gomez, Andre and Jackson Tejachau. Jean-Richard Bellegarde and Hwang Hee-chan support Jürgen Strand-Larsen, who leads the line this evening for the visitors. Andrew Kitchen is our referee to take us through this evening's action. Of course, managerless Wolves, it looks like it's Collins who is the interim, if you will, for the moment, taking charge of Wolves for this evening's action. We're almost ready to get underway. Join us at 8 PM sharp for all the coverage of your independent off-tube studio commentary of action at Stamford Bridge this Saturday evening. It's Chelsea against Wolves. Wolverhampton Wanderers take the trip this evening to take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge to round off this Saturday of Premier League action. Blues hosting Wolverhampton.
Now that top one.
Midweek it was a bag for Chelsea compared to the team. The Premier League, it was a against Spurs. A change from that side. Reece James is out and Delap is back in, of course, back from suspension. Only João Pedro, Marc Cucurella and Robert Sanchez keep their place from that 2-2 draw in the UEFA Champions League. Whereas for the visitors, they make 4 changes from that 3-0 defeat away to Fulham. Of course, since Vitor Pereira has been dismissed as the manager. Jose Agbadou suspended, of course. Munetsi and Aries drop out. João Gomez, Andre, Hwang Hee-chan and Tejachau come into the lineup. For the hosts, it's Robert Sanchez in goal, a back four of Mauro Gusto, Wesley Fofana, Trevor Chalobah and Marc Cucurella. Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo are the two holders in midfield. There's Pedro Neto, João Pedro and Alejandro Garnacho supporting Liam Delap, who leads the line. For the visitors, it's Sam Johnston in goal, a back four of Santiago Bueno, Totti Gomez and Ladislav Krejci. Midfield forward of Hugo Bueno, João Gomez, Andre and Jackson Tejachau. Jean-Richard Bellegarde and Hwang Hee-chan support Jürgen Strand-Larsen, who leads the line this evening for the visitors. Andrew Kitchen is our referee to take us through this evening's action. Of course, managerless Wolves, it looks like it's Collins who is the interim, if you will, for the moment, taking charge of Wolves for this evening's action. We're almost ready to get underway. Join us at 8 PM sharp for all the coverage of your independent off-tube studio commentary of action at Stamford Bridge this Saturday evening. It's Chelsea against Wolves. Managerless Wolverhampton Wanderers take the trip this evening to take and it's a warm welcome to this evening's late kick-off in the Premier League. It is Chelsea hosting Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Stamford Bridge, and both teams coming into this game. Of course, Chelsea midweek as a long ball forward for Delap. It's well held there by Sam Johnston. Of course, we're looking at Liam Delap. It's his first start in the league since that 2-0 win against Fulham on August 30th. So this evening, of course, suspended a couple of weeks ago, wasn't he, in the Carabao Cup clash where Chelsea were victorious against Wolves. So maybe a point to prove for the former Ipswich Town man. We'll bring you all the changes and full lineups in a moment if you did miss them in the preamble. Quick note though, of course, managerless Wolves, it's the under-20 boss, James Collins. No, not that one, the defender for West Ham previously. Managed the under-20 side for Wolverhampton Wanderers. He's in charge for this evening as they do wait to appoint a new number 1 boss. It's myself, Lewis Raftery, Joined this evening by Nathan Wassell, not for the first time this evening, to take you through all the coverage of unofficial, independent, off-tube studio commentary of this Premier League clash. And Nathan, we saw a cracker a few moments ago at the Stamford Bridge, at the Stadium of Light, as forward come Garnacho down the left-hand side. Is brought down there by Santiago Bueno. Maybe an early opportunity here from a set piece, and as I was saying, we saw a cracker there. 2-all draw between Sunderland and Arsenal. A lot to live up to in this game.
Absolutely, yeah. I think Chelsea will really fancy it against managers as Wolves. 2 points so far this season. It's been a real one to forget for Wolves. It's been atrocious, really, for their point of view, hasn't it? And it's not going to get any easy tonight. But with Rob Edwards, to be manager away from Borough, place he used to play, there is light at the end of the tunnel, maybe, to try and pull themselves back into survival hopes. But at the minute, yeah, real big task on their hands tonight against the Blues.
And they've got an opportunity here to Enzo Maresca's side to create at least an early opportunity. It will be high on the left-hand side. Left boot of Pedro Neto. Right boot of Enzo Fernandez. They've also got Garnacho as a short option. We'll have to see how it does work out here. Maybe Fernandez just swings this across the face of goal, or maybe Neto swings it into the back post. Fernandez goes for goal. Johnson tips over his bar. Out for a corner. It's a good strike by Enzo Fernandez. See if you'd expect Johnson to make, but early on, maybe the Argentine is thinking, let me test the keeper here.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was a cross, but overhit, but no, he's going for goal for that back post. Well done, Sam Johnson, staying alive to it, palmed it out, early corner. Now looking back, I think he has overhit the cross, but I'm not sure. But either way, it's on target. First shot on target, it's a good save.
Sam Johnston again being tested early on, will go out for a corner, so second set piece in a row. This time an in-swinger from Pedro Neto, kept alive by Cucurella. Might have been a foul in the build-up there from Dilap. The referee this evening is Andrew Kitchen. He's having absolutely none of that. Back to Malo Gusto it goes, and Chelsea will keep possession with Robert Sanchez, who actually isn't even the furthest player back. It's Matt Cucurella who's that far advanced out of his penalty area. Left hand side, Garnacho started very lively as the former Manchester United man. Swung out to Fofana on the right hand side into the path of João Pedro and his more favoured number 10 attacking midfield role. Enzo Fernandez, ball over the top for Garnacho, first time strike into the ground, great save by Johnston. Should have done better with it there though, Garnacho, but that's another big chance early on for Chelsea. Now down the right hand side, Wolves looking to come forward. Cucurella cool and calm is the Spaniard, and Chelsea get the ball rolling once again. Big chance there, so love the ball from Enzo Fernandez. It falls awkwardly for Garnacho, but he does miss kick it to a degree.
Brilliant, yeah, fantastic ball over the top. It's a tough one to take, you're right, it's awkward. I'm going to put it into professional football standards, a Chelsea player as well, especially Garnacho, let's say. I think he has to score. I think he has to. It's awkward, it comes over the top, over his right-hand side. He's taking it first time on the bounce. But for me, yeah, I think he's capable of hitting the back of the net from there. Huge chance already. They've had a free kick that's on target. They should have just scored there. Relentless from Chelsea, and Wolves already set up just to try and survive at this point, so it may just be a long evening. No team at this point on 2 points on match day 11 of the season, they've ended up always getting relegated, so it's trying to change the course of history for Wolves.
It's not a good omen, is it, for the visitors this evening to Stamford Bridge? That's a poor touch there from Santiago Bueno, but he does clear his lines, and yes, you're spot on, Nathan. It's relentless from the Blues at the moment. Quickly then, the lineups, if I do get a moment of Chelsea, give me that time. One change from Chelsea from last weekend's 1-0 win against Spurs. Reece James drops out. Liam Delap comes into the... Chelsea at bay for the moment. Out to the right hand side, it just basically goes from one side to another. Neto, that's a good ball into the box, looking for the lap, won by Caicedo. Malo Gusto keeps it alive. Good first few touches, fakes it on his right, swings it in with his left. Pedro knocks it back for Cucurella, who'll go for a strike at goal. That might have been going in, but Fernandez takes it off. Header just goes wide. That's one of them where that could have been going and it could have been going wide. Fernandez, we saw it very similar to, I don't know if you saw the goal, Richarlison's goal for the second, where a strike was coming in. He nodded it past Sonny Lemens in the early game for Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester United. But if that falls a little bit kinder, I think it's going on target, but I think Sam Johnson has it covered. with Enzo Fernandez just goes wide, but Sam Johnson would have had no chance if that was on target.
And I think that's why I think it's the correct decision for Enzo Fernandez to do, because Cucurella didn't really catch it, and I think it would have been comfortable for Johnson either way if it was on target or not. So for him to throw in the mix and risk putting a header towards that front post, I think that's a very good decision. He was very unlucky. I'm just watching that Garnacho. I may have been slightly harsh on him. It is a very awkward one, you're right.
As it comes over his shoulder, I think what you said first off was spot on. It's more the standard of a player at Chelsea, I think, should at least hit that a bit cleaner. And if it's a save by Johnson, it's a save. He just doesn't get the connection he wants. I think it's more how he hits it, if I'm quite honest. Quickly then, though, 7.5 minutes in, I can finally bring the 11s as it does slow down for a moment. It's Robert Sanchez in goal for the Hose. A back four of Gusto, Fofana, Chalobah and Cucurella. As the ball comes in from Wolves, saved away by Sanchez in goal, and Gusto will clear his lines. So duo in midfield of Fernandez and Caicedo, and it's Neto. That was a swift move from Wolves getting forward. Chow on the right hand side. It's a lovely ball in. If Strand Larsen is maybe in a better position, it's on his head, but decent keeping from Robert Sanchez. Of course, a lot of critics always does the Spaniard have, so good response there. Quickly though, the Wolves line-up, it's Johnston in goal, a back three of Santiago Bueno, Krejci and Totti Gomez. Midfield four of Hugo Bueno, João Gomez, Andre and Jackson Chachachao, and it's Jean, Richie, Bellegarde, Hwang Hee-chan, supporting Jürgen Strand Larsen. Chelsea off the ball with Fofana. He's going to drive forward all the way from his own half. Maybe he's watching Mickey van der Ven highlights, goes past one, but then he's tripped over and a free kick will be given. And when Wolves are so far back, maybe you need a centre-back or a Caicedo or Fernandez to pick the ball up, drive forward, move a few players out of position, and then open up some space for your teammates.
It's a good point, because honestly, when an attacker's coming forward, you think, right, hold your position, we'll just go to this, we'll move it around. When a centre-half comes running through the middle, you think, wait, hold on, actually someone needs to close this guy down. We're not anticipating this guy to be here right now. Pulls people out of position, makes them think about it. Chelsea got on with a free kick quickly. It's slightly wasted. It looks like Wolves can just about clear that line.
Yeah, they will do. The Jürgen Strand Larsen is up top. That's a poor touch from him, though. Into Enzo Fernandez. He's looking for a pass. Into the line. And the Wolves goal. As Nathan was saying, though, it's very much on the cards that it will be Rob Edwards taking over as the Wolves boss. Of course, we've got this 2-week international break coming up after the games this evening, and of course tomorrow as well. So if he is to become the boss, I know a lot of his players will actually be away on international duty, but he has a chance at least until that purple patch he had a few years ago. I think that Wolves side is unfortunately it's very good and was kept together for so long that it's just been taken apart slowly by slowly, year by year. Bellegarde, ball into the box at the back sticks, it's headed back into a dangerous area. Fofana deals with it, and Chelsea might hit on the counter now. Delap taken down by Santiago Bueno, but out of play for a throw-in, it does go. We'll see Delap being back in the 11. It's his first start in the league since late August. 2-0 win against Fulham. He was out of an injury, then the suspension as well. He'll be wanting to prove a point tonight. Yeah,
absolutely, because the red card against the team we're watching tonight was idiotic, them 2 yellow. It was ridiculous. So yeah, you're absolutely right. His reputation needs to be withheld with a strong performance tonight. The number 9 for Chelsea leading the line, get his goal scoring form underway. No better time than tonight, with all due respect to Wolves.
Yeah, it's one of them where I think Chelsea look like they've got the bit between the teeth and think, right, maybe we can rack up a few goals this evening. It's there for them to do. It's just about how do they respond and how do they take this game. Right now, they're in complete control as far as I'm concerned. Fofana on the right-hand side, further wide to Pedro Neto. It looks to be as well that Chelsea just want to go side to side and give Garnacho opportunities, give Pedro Neto opportunities as well to take on the full backs. That 5 at the back for Wolves, it's really hard to get in behind. If you can move it side to side with a little bit of tempo, there's always an option. That's a lovely ball from Enzo Fernandez into Garnacho. Heavy touch ball across the face of goal. Nearly falls for Pedro. Still in the penalty area though. João Gomez is going to come away with the ball as he fouled by Paulo Gusto. Yes, he is. Takes it quickly though into Andre, and then he is pressed down intently. Goes back to his goalkeeper Johnston. Clears it away. It is sliced away But Enzo Fernandez, sometimes I don't know where his best position is, because when he's further forward he's more of a goal threat, but when he's a bit deeper he can play passes like that. That was a lovely pass into Garnacho. I think his touch is a little bit heavy, but still it's a good ball across, but no one there to tap it home.
Oh, it's a brilliant ball from deep. It's absolutely fantastic. Honestly, it's brilliant. The best you'll see. There's only one other Fernandes in the league I could probably see doing that as well. And he wears red every week. So it's Bruno Fernandes. But a brilliant ball nonetheless around that corner. Yeah, Garnacho fizzed across, awkward height, bit of hip height, not the best, too close to the keeper. Unfortunate on his weaker left. Unfortunate in the end, but it was really good football by Chelsea. Just keeping an eye on Pedro Neto tonight, of course, against his former side.
Yeah, of course, I'm sure Delap would love to get a goal as a forward back in the side, proving a point. I'm sure Pedro Neto, as you say, against his former side would also prove a point as well. I think, as you say, I think Garnacho is a lovely ball from Fernandes, but it doesn't take the best of first touches, and he's stretching to get the ball on the byline, and as you say, it wasn't the best of balls. It was a good ball in, but could have and should have been better from the Argentine. Chelsea on the ball with their Argentine skipper in Enzo Fernandez. He's always got his head up, he's always looking for a teammate. He's a former Benfica man. Caicedo back to Cucurella. Garnacho on this left hand side. So Enzo Fernandez nearing 3 years since he made that move from Benfica after the World Cup to Chelsea, and so many signings since then. He doesn't seem like a new player, does he? But he's only been there 3 years. Come the new year, João Pedro this time. That many Pedros, that many Buenos, that many Gomez's on the pitch that sometimes I'm trying to say something and I think, João Pedro, that doesn't sound right. Pedro Neto, that doesn't sound right. Forward from Chelsea once again with Fofana. Very much this has been told by Enzo Maresca to drive forward when you've got the ball, but he's left a bit of space here. Here come Wolves, down with João Gomez into the path of Strand Larsen, gets it caught in his feet in the penalty area still, but Wolves do bodies forward. Chelsea get them back. Good tackle from Andre there. He'll come away with the ball. The referee doesn't agree. Apparently it was Swanky Chan, sorry. Referee Andrew Kitchen doesn't agree. I thought he got the ball there, if I'm completely honest with him. I have to see a replay there. What a run from João Gomez there. Picks out Strand Larsen perfectly. You can see the frustration on the striker's face. He knows that he probably should have just taken a touch, got it out of his feet, and go for a strike at goal.
It's so poor from Strand Larsen. How many chances are you going to get that tonight at Stamford Bridge? He needs to be taking that in his stride and just letting rip, even if it's on his weaker left side. Has to be done. You just need to get it off. Dancing underneath him, it's gone behind him. It's extremely poor. The build-up was fantastic, including Strand Larsen, but at the vital moment, he fell at the last level.
I would say though that came from just Wolves on the counter. They might do that again. Forward comes Gusto, dancing past one, past two is the full-back. Heavy touch there from Bueno, cleared away off the boot of Cucurella. Gusto down though, holding his foot. Don't know if he's maybe took, maybe his left hand. Apologies, maybe he's trying to through one or two players. He's maybe a knock for his troubles. Helped up by his skipper Enzo Fernandez. Picked off Enzo Maresca. Cold evening, I can assume, at Stamford Bridge. He's got his big puffer on, as has the rest of the Chelsea squad already. Writing down a few notes is James Collins. 15 and a half minutes in. It's unofficial, independent, off-tube studio commentary of this clash at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea hosting Wolves in the Premier League. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea have had a good few chances though with Garnacho and a chance earlier with Enzo Fernandez. Wolves haven't really tested the keeper, but a really good piece of movement and sequence a few moments ago with João playing it into Strand Larsen should have resulted in a chance. But it does remain goalless as we do approach 16 minutes on the clock. Caicedo, what a play he's turned into. He's one of them where at first he was 115, 120 million from Brighton, and I think for a year or two he didn't justify the price tag, but definitely this year he's turning into a real
mean, it's not a tap in any of them, is it? It's some brilliant goals, it has to be said. He's come on leaps and bounds. He was fantastic at Brighton, but he's hit another level at Chelsea. He's absolutely fantastic.
You have to say the same for Enzo Fernandez. A big price tag, he comes in, doesn't do it, but now you look at, right, Chelsea's midfield is set for 10 years.
Yeah,
now, isn't it? So at the moment, with how they're performing, worth every single penny for the Blues. It's Wonder in midfield for Wolves. Hwang Hee-chan out to the left-hand side. Forward they come, looking for a chance. Could they be a surprise package this evening? Or saw Sunderland take the lead after the half-hour mark against Arsenal. Come away with a draw. After Arsenal did fight back. We'll see how it goes this evening, though. João Pedro striding forward into the Wolves half. Great play from the former Brighton man. Neto on the right-hand side. Wants to whip a ball into the box. He's looking for a short option. He's got Gusto just behind him. Gusto asks for the ball, whips one into the back post. Fortunately, it's just a little bit behind the lap. If that's in front of him, the lap's probably running onto that and nodding that one in the back of the net. Garnacho keeps the attack alive. Into Fernandez. Cucurella back to his skipper, looking for options, looking for a pass. Ball trying to be played into the penalty area, cleared away though. The Wolves are pending for the moment. That's a poor passer from Caicedo. Of course, curse of the commentator, bigging up his abilities, and then he gives away a poor pass like that. It's just the rule, unfortunately, for a commentator. Santiago Bueno on the right hand side. Maybe he can drive forward. Plays a good pass into Hwang Hee-chan. He's going to turn and he's going to run at this Chelsea defence. He wants some options. He needs some teammates. He's got Bellegarde to his right, who's just been jogging with him the entire way. Bellegarde is there to the right hand side. It's a little bit too slow. And again, I think Hwang Hee-chan needs to play that ball into him, but also Bellegarde. Maybe Hwang Hee-chan was looking at him going, you're running the same distance as me, I want to play the ball into you. But that was, I would say, on the surface of it, quite lazy from Bellegarde.
Tepid, very tepid attack, and now they've given the ball away. It's that simple. It's just not good enough. They needed to move the ball quicker. Bellegarde should have absolutely broke away, steamed down that right-hand side. There was nobody there on the overlap. Played down by Hwang, get the ball in the box. Jürgen Strand-Larsen is not the smallest striker in the world, is he? Two players in the box waiting for the ball. Real missed opportunity. Was it? It's a good run from Chichacho. He made a good run, didn't he, forward, but unfortunately went offside and couldn't get back on. He's on the ball now, whips one into the penalty area. To Bellegarde. I feel Bellegarde maybe doesn't know what his position is, because he's playing as one of those attacking midfielders behind Strand-Larsen with Hwang Hee-chan, but he's also then playing quite wide at times. I don't know if himself and Chichacho are trying to fluidly move positions. I'm not too sure, but Bellegarde, again, we know the players there. That's why he scored a great goal against Forest a couple of seasons ago. You know how good he is, but at the same time, he was very poor then. 19 and a half minutes in. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Marc Cucurella has the ball just inside his own half. Of course, quickly looking at the tables, you've already spoken about Wolves being dead last, unfortunately. Even if they were to pick up 3 points, picking up a point right now with, of course, the draw on the live table takes them to 3 points. If you were to add another 2, of course, they would still be bottom of the table and a point behind Nottingham Forest. Whereas Chelsea, they have gone up a few positions into 5th with a point right now. If they can come away with 3 points this evening, they will jump above Manchester City, Sunderland and Spurs. Yes, I did say Sunderland in the top 4, that's where they are. Chelsea would go second and put some pressure onto Arsenal, especially after the draw that Chelsea and that Sunderland got for Chelsea, really, in the sense of Chelsea be happy with that. Pedro Neto on the right hand side, ball into the box, headed away by Chichacho. Bellegarde will then come away with the ball, tries to take it past Cucurella. They're both fighting and wrestling for the ball. And foul's going to be given one way or the other, but I think it rules each other out. Actually, the referee doesn't. Fair play to the referee, Andrew Kitchen there. Chelsea moving through the gears. Gusto out to Caicedo. Further wide to Pedro Neto, looking for a chance here at Chelsea. Once again, really penning the visitors in. Gusto plays it to Cucurella. That's a poor pass. Cucurella gets there first. I think he leaves one in on Bellegarde. I think he says to the referee, yeah, caught him there, but there's nothing malicious about it. It might be a sore one. The referee doesn't give a free kick though. Bellegarde is still down. Fernandez out to Garnacho on the left hand side into the penalty area. Dinks one into the box. Johnston punches it away. Falls for Enzo Fernandez. Striker goal into the surface. Saved well by Johnston there. Wasn't a great punch away, but then it also wasn't great defending to close Enzo Fernandez down. Set piece for the Blues. Yeah, it should have been closed down, but a good full volley from Fernandez. Watched the ball all the way, hit it into the floor, takes the sting out of it ever so slightly. Johnston was alive to it after the poor punch though. It's a good save. Another Chelsea corner. If that hit the back of there, it would have been interesting because it looks like Kukurej left a last minute imprint on him.
It's a bit of a strong one.
Still down.
Well, I think that's what he's saying to the referee, that can't believe he didn't stop the game for the injury. But as I was saying about Chelsea, whilst Arsenal did drop points, you need to take advantage on nights like these, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course you do. Big one for Chelsea if they're all 3 points to go second in the table with Man City and Liverpool still to play each other tomorrow. But a real big chance for Chelsea to make some progress and some ground.
In-swinger coming up from Enzo Fernandez. Fofana's up there. Chalobah is there. Of course, the Lapis as well. Puts it right on the goalkeeper. Johnson comes to claim. Punches it away. Only as far as the edge of the area. Johnston, I think, wants a free kick for the foul that he thinks he suffered. Fernandez into Garnacho. He swings one into the box. Kept alive. Caicedo's there. A few players there. Stabbed it by Fofana. Wide of the goal. It might have even gone out for another corner. Might have been deflected away off of Chacha. There's a few Wolves players that are absolutely furious for a possible foul here on Sam Johnston. Watching it back, the lap basically pushes and moves Johnston away. There's nothing really the keeper can do about that. I'm really surprised it's not a foul.
Yeah, and he's cleared it off the line. Man on the back post, maybe Chacha on the line. Toti Gomez, maybe one of them. He was over the keeper, and he was so. If he did it at the back of that, it'd been interesting.
Neto swings it into the front post. Again, very much trying to test the goalkeeper, of course, as long throw-ins have become the norm. Also, just corners right on the goalkeeper have become the norm for Premier League sides in the last 18 months or so. Mauro Gusto playing it right back, but giving maybe a bit more of a freer role to a degree. Back to Sanchez. Very much not in his own half, though. His own penalty area. Garnacho coming forward. Ball into João Pedro. Keeps it alive. Caicedo is on the left-hand side looking for options. Into his midfield partner Enzo Fernandez. Very intricate here from Chelsea. Pedro tries to just dink one forward. Garnacho's already turned his back. I don't know what Garnacho's doing. It's a poor pass from João Pedro, but Garnacho looked away as if, I can't believe you've done that. Pretty poor from Chelsea there.
Didn't even try, did he, Garnacho? He just thought, no. It was a poor ball from João Pedro, just trying to stab it down the line. See what he's trying to do. No one's getting to that. So it's going to be a goal kick in the end. So far, okay for Wolves. They've been tested, Sam Johnson, but he hasn't been overexerted, has he, shall we say. There's been some good saves, but saves you'd probably expect him to make. Wolves have had their chances as well. Not chances in front of goal, but chances to get chances in front of goal, and they've just gone to waste. And I think that's what he'd be saying at half-time, James Collins, that, look, we're getting openings. You just need to be a bit more clinical when they come.
100%. We are 24 minutes into the first half, a couple of minutes over halfway of the action at Stamford Bridge has been covered. It is Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. As I said earlier, unofficial, independent, off-tube studio commentary of the 8 p.m. kickoff on a Saturday evening at Stamford Bridge. 0-0 between the two sides, and they take you through to half-time. I'll pass you over to Nathan.
Thanks, Raf. Chelsea far side with Gusto. Helps it on its way to Neto. So nearly 25 on the clock, and we remain goalless. Chelsea have been knocking on it ever so slightly. A little bit harder at times, but Wolves have stood firm so far. Like you say, there's been half chances to get through for Wolves, but they've been wasteful so far. But when they start being a bit more clinical, you just never know. But predominantly it's been Chelsea on the ball. It's a lovely ball from Fernandez. Delap's gone to the left. He's been tackled. It's going to be a goal kick. He's asking for a corner. A tackle came in. It did look like there was a bit of a ricochet. Ketchy was the man going across. Stood firm with Delap, followed him well. It was a lovely sweeping ball once again from deep. First time from Fernandez. It's fantastic. Through to Delap. I think that's a good decision for me. Yeah,
I'd have to agree. Again, you're always going to ask, aren't you? I don't doubt the player asking or anything. And look, I'm sure Delap will think he has been fouled. That's what you're going to think as a forward and asking the referee. But you are right. I think this is, in the best way, the problem with an Enzo Fernandez type player, because when he sits deep, you take away his goal-scoring ability, and he's actually really good box crashing of a midfielder. But when you play him there, you also take away the ability to play balls like that. So sometimes it reminds me, if I'm honest, of Paul Pogba at Manchester United. You want him deep to play those balls, but you get 20 goals a season from midfield if you were further forward. It's a really good headache to have, but it's just one of them where game to game, he's got to manage it. Right now, he's playing some superb passes in
yes,
midfield.
He is from deep, isn't he? He's bringing players into the game with some lovely through balls. Has to be said. Wolves just have the ball at the back with the man in goal. Sam Johnson goes long to the near side. He's been goaded off the ball. I believe it to be Chachu, but I'm not quite sure. We'll have another look. Number 38, Chacho, yeah, who's just been nudged off it by Cucurella, throwing to Chelsea near side, just inside their own half. Goes over to Caicedo, goes over the top, looking for João Pedro, who tries to just cushion it on top of his lace, on the move, over his head. It's such a hard talent to try and grasp. But I tell you what, he wasn't a million miles away. He goes for it, Sam Johnson.
It was really close, as you say. I mean, he's a top technical player, isn't he, the former Brighton man. I think the only problem is if he could have taken a great touch there, still might not have even got the shot away with Sam Johnston maybe coming out. But it was a good idea. It was a great pass as well. Again, that's really just, you're talking about inches away, aren't you, from taking a touch and maybe Pedro coming away with at least a strike at goal. But right now, I think if you're Chelsea, the important thing is we've got a long game to go, but half an hour in, I think maybe Enzo Maresca and his side might be thinking, we should already be 1-0 up here going into the game. So it's important that the Blues don't get frustrated, because Wolves will take advantage if they do.
Yeah, I think so far so good for Wolves. I think you'd be fairly happy. James Collins 0-0, just shy of half an hour gone, and not exactly on the ropes at the minute. They have a throw in on the far side, the Wolves, halfway inside that Chelsea half far side, as they kick from left to right in this first half. Chelsea from right to left. Totti Gomez going all the way back to Santiago Bueno, one of the Buenos out there. Chachao near side, inside it goes to João Gomez, the Brazilian, goes trying to go around the corner to Strand Larsen's feet. I think that's the one. I mean, they will be sat on the back foot a lot, Wolves, we know this, but the one criticism I would have is when they do have the ball, getting Strand Larsen in the game a bit more.
I think the problem is as well that, let's just say you boot it up to him and you ask him to bring it down, he's not got much support either, has he? And I know you're asking a lot of your players to sit back and then come and support, so you might leave Chelsea a room to attack down, but Strand Larsen, if he could bring it down, he's looking at Hwang Hee-chan and Bellegarde, and that's about it for support. So you need to get players up with him. I think the 3-4-3 works really well at times, but to me in this situation, I'd be taking either, well, probably Bellegarde off if I'm honest, or just dropping Bellegarde a little bit deeper, having a free midfield and having Hwang Hee-chan right next to Strand Larsen, so that no one's ever really isolated.
And I think it relies heavily on the wing backs. You know, you deemed it lazy, and we were saying run down your line, Chachao, but he was barely moving for that overlap about 5 or 10 minutes ago. Him and Bueno heavily relied on taking a bit of a risk, maybe pushing forward when they do have the ball. At the minute, quite conservative. Garnacho's on the edge of the box, goes for goal. Lovely block on the edge of the box. Chachao, second bite of the cherry for the Argentine. Back to another one, and Fernandez over to Cucurella, playing it around the box, around the orange box. It's just full of players, and Chelsea trying to break through. They're struggling at the minute. Be an interesting game if Chelsea did go 1-0 up, because Wolves would have to push forward. They're sat very deep at the minute, and Chelsea, I won't say struggling to break them down, but they're, in terms of out-and-out chances, a bit of a minimum at the minute. Ball centrally in the pitch with Trevor Chalobah, who's sporting a skinhead now. He's changed his hairstyle as he moves it to Garnacho, the number 49. It's triangle passes in the middle of the pitch over to the near side to João Pedro, picks up a free roam position. He's trying to feed it through for Fernandez, who has pushed forward now and is throwing to Sam Johnson's hands. But yeah, there's an element to me that Chelsea just struggling to get behind Wolves.
They are out there in fewest touches this match. Liam Delap with 3. Robert Sanchez before, usually the goalkeepers actually have a lot of touches, don't they? Striding forward though now on the left hand side with Hugo Bueno. Similar to how you want Fofana to stride forward, you might need that from one of your wing backs for Wolves. Just get out of your own half, carry it away. Don't lose the ball and don't be overzealous with it, but you can pick up the ball, get away, release some pressure from your team. But for Chelsea, in terms of a one-on-one chance, they haven't created that. Here they come with Larsen.
Strand Larsen, he's on the ball now, right hand side, he's trying to put it across through a Chelsea man. Fofana intercepted well. But Wolves do have a corner. Interesting one. We need to get this right. They won't get many, so it has to be good.
Yeah, 100%. And again, what you will say is they do have height to do Wolves. Of course, Strand Larsen, but then you look at that back three of Krejci, Santiago Bueno and Totti Gomez. Hwang Hee-chan isn't the tallest, but he's got his movement is really good. He'll find the right place at the right time. He's having a few words with his teammates as well. It's all about the delivery. And Krejci, look at him, he's just like a unevolved Strand Larsen, doesn't he? Does the youngster. Really tall, really powerful, big chance here for Wolves. As you said, they're not going to get many, so let's see how they try and take this one.
Yeah, in swinger from Bueno, the left wing back, left-footed, showing for short. No, they're going long. Good decision. In it goes. Sanchez has caught that extremely well. Gone over two players to grab it and kept hold of it as well. Fernandez has helped it forward. There's a counter-attack on Wolves. Need to be careful. They look vulnerable for the first time. Pedro out on the right-hand side. Top right-hand corner of the box, just checks it back. He's delayed it. Fernandez in the box, missed everyone. Poor ball in, and they're going to be able to clear it. Wolves really poor from Chelsea from their point of view. They should have moved it quicker on the far side, I should say. Neto's moved to the left-hand side this time, the number 7, switching in the wings. Gusto's picked up a free roam. He's on the left flank this time, down to the near side to Cucurella. Keeping hold of it. While Wolves were vulnerable, they had to move that quickly, and they took too long. Garnacho's going to swing this in to the back post. Not a bad ball at all, but a good defensive header from Bueno. And it's Gomez on the far side, left of his own box. He goes outside the football, down the lines, poor one. And Fofana will just collect that and go all the way back. I want to get your thoughts on that. I just think that counter-attack, first time we've seen Wolves look like they can get in behind them, just took too long.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? That's the problem. That just not low, just up the tempo a little bit and put some pressure on some Garnacho. Again, it's very much have a little run at them, then play it back inside because you couldn't beat your man instead of taking your full back on. Chelsea are very, very comfortable, but I also think defending Wolves are quite comfortable as well.
I think Delap's making it too easy for the centre halves. He's just getting pushed off the ball far too easily. The ball went over the top, looking for his head earlier, and the defender just held onto his back and he just let it go over his head. It's far too easily from their point of view. The former Ipswich Town striker, I should say. It's moved to the far side. Neto's back on that right-hand side, running at his man. Checking back on his left, digs out a cross. It's blocked at source right in front of him. Goes backwards to Fofana, feed it out to the far side to Neto once again. 33 on the clock, remains 0-0. Neto taking on 1, taking on 2. He's gone backwards though. He's forced it to the near side. Cucurella is at full pace. He's going to keep it in. The Spaniard, the number 3, room in front of him as Wolves sit deep. Enzo Fernandez. Back it goes to Caicedo. And I mean, you talk of duplicate names as well. Enzo Maresca and Enzo Fernandez as well. Add that one to the
yes.
Add that one to the catalogue. There's Caicedo and now Chalobah on the centre circle. Moves it to the near side to Neto, the number 7. 35 yards from goal. Yeah, they're at standstill, and so are Wolves. They're just saying, come at us, what you got? You ask the questions, Chelsea, and we'll show you if we've got the answers. And so far, they've ticked every box, Wolves. So far, not so bad. But when they go forward, they need to be a bit more clinical with it. But Chelsea coming forward, Garnacho stopped it in his tracks. Good, strong challenge from Chachao, and it'll be a throw-in on the near side for Chelsea, but struggling to get through once again.
They are right there, and again for Chelsea, you don't have to go gung-ho, but we're closing in on half-time. We're just over 10 minutes away, aren't we? If it's still nil, that's when I think frustration won't boil over, but it will start to, alright, why are we not 1-0 above here? How are Wolves holding on? We see their position, we see the sacked manager. Chelsea will be thinking we should be winning this 4-5-0 and putting a statement out, whereas Wolves have just kept in there and kept fighting and kept battling, and Chelsea's finding it really hard. I think, as you said, I think you're right, Delap's there's just no movement. For example, Fernandez put a ball into the box and he looked disappointed the ball wasn't right on his head, but he didn't make a move for it, so it was quite confusing, but I'm sure it is, him still finding his rhythm in the squad.
Well, Augusto far side, 1-2, it's under hit. It's very poor football from Chelsea. Picked off João Gomez. That's really good football. Move to the near side to Chachao. They've got a 3-on-4 in the favour of Chelsea if they're quick. Chachao with the ball in early. You know what? It's not a bad attempt. It's gone all the way through at the far side, and Caicedo's just going to let it trickle out for a throw-in. It's across the back line of that defence, and it's really not a bad idea. Just a very strong line.
Oh, it's not. It's a really good idea. As you say, ball into the box. And it's one of them where I think Strand Larsson's reading it. I'm not saying it's not, but if he maybe reads it that second earlier, he can make a run, can't he? That's what Delap's good at, is a ball played up to him, and Gretschy takes him down as a foul and a free kick, I should say, for the Blues. He's very good at doing that. He's very good at bailing people out almost, isn't he? He's Ipswich Town man, and again, I think he's a player coming back from injury, coming back from suspension, looking out of confidence, because at Ipswich, we knew we were a handful and could be a bit messy sometimes, but we brought goals with him. Yet to do that though at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, 9 attempts for Chelsea, 3 on target, 0 attempts for Wolves so far in this game. But they have had the ball up that end of the field. Chelsea maybe prone to hiccups. They lost 3-1 at home to Brighton. Brighton no pushovers, of course, themselves, the Seagulls. And that big one where they went 1-0 up against Sunderland and ended up losing 2-1 with the final kick of the game. I mean, for every week that passes, it doesn't look like it gets less and less embarrassing for Sunderland in the Champions League spot. So it's not exactly the worst one, but they are a newly promoted team. So there's chance there for Wolves, and there's always hope. But they need to get shots off on goal. They've had none so far, and Chelsea have the ball 35 yards out from goal centrally with Trevor Chalobah. I mean, the furthest man forward, Strand Larsen, about 30 yards from his own goal, and that tells you how deep Wolves are sitting in to protect this goal at the minute. You just question how long they can keep up with this Chelsea pace in terms of the ball being passed around and chasing the ball. You can only do that for so long before the legs just start to feel a little more heavy. And you just feel like at the last stage of this game we may see a difference maker. Get a free kick for Chelsea on halfway, getting in Gusto's face, but don't mind it, to be fair. Doing the dirty work at Wolves and João Gomez. And, well, Gusto stayed. They've carried on, but Gusto stayed on the floor. I don't know if they've decided to put it out, but he seemed to be in a relative amount of pain, so it might have been a stray arm. Some ball's going to be kicked out, and they're going to get some medical treatment. We're going to get a look at it. May have hurt his hand. But Gomez stepping into his face. Don't mind it.
Yeah, I don't mind at all. As you say, I'm very intrigued to see what happened with the injury. As if it was a shoulder. It just goes into his back, and I don't have a clue what's really happened there. But if he goes out holding his shoulder, so Santiago, João Gomez, apologies, he's got his arms all over his shoulders, and then Gusto, after he's walked away, it almost looks like someone's trodden on his leg or his foot. That didn't happen. So a little bit weird from the Chelsea player there. Looking at Chelsea so far, 38 minutes into the game, Sanchez is already going over to talk to Enzo Maresca. He will be so disappointed. At least I haven't made anything, but sometimes I think, as you said earlier, you've got to look at Wolves and go, you are playing well. That's the difference, and Wolves right now are playing quite well.
They are. They're not doing too badly at all. I mean, if they walked away with a point here, I think they'd be ecstatic that they're taking that before the game. We're still talking because he is still down, is Malo Gusto. He was shaking his hand like he'd hurt his wrist, and now there's treatment getting done to his right ankle, so maybe multiple injuries, but he's still getting treatment as we speak, and players are getting fluids on board. And we'll just analyse what we've seen in the first 38.5 minutes, and it's a Chelsea side that can't break through a stubborn Wolves team who have probably played their tactics to perfection, minus when they get into that final third at the other end, been a bit more clinical.
I think box to box, both teams have been really good. That's been the thing. It's just that final quality in the final third that Chelsea have got there obviously so many times. Wolves obviously quite less, but it's just certain things like the passing and just picking someone out. To me, I want to say to Strand Larsen, you pick the ones you want, we will pick you out. Whereas a lot of times they're taking it they're just whipping it in instead of just taking a look. Where's João Pedro? Where's Strand Larsen? Sorry, let me whip it on his head. He can do the rest. Whereas they're almost taking a touch and not looking up, then cut inside and cut back inside. And by then, if you're the striker in Strand Larsen, you're probably looking going, well, I'm not making another run if you make 7 dummies, for example. You've got to play it into me, and then when they do, it's not being a great cross either.
I'd just be looking in behind. You know, Chelsea, they're playing high up. They'll try pen Wolves back. So when the ball's outletted there and they have it in midfield, move it quick, get it over the top. You just never know. He's obviously a big lad, Strand Larsen, so he's not exactly, you wouldn't put him under the category of rapid, but he can make a move, and if you put it over the top, you just never know. I just think they need to be a bit more braver with the out ball. Gusto's gone off and the game's resumed. He'll go off the mandatory, was it 30 seconds or a minute? Whatever it may be. He will exit off the field to come back on, because the medics did come on. Chelsea resume with 10. Down the line it goes to Garnacho. Not a bad ball from Pedro. That's a little lot of him. Chicharito's made a mistake. He slid and misplaced the kick, giving it back to Garnacho. Edge of the box with Pedro. Good tackle got in from João Gomez. He's been good tonight, the Brazilian so far as well, but he's seen a lot of the ball. He's put a good couple of balls in. As soon as I say that, he's hit one flat. But they will get themselves a corner, Chelsea. And I think Wolves will be disappointed because it was needless. It was sliced out by Totti Gomez.
Oh yeah, 100%. And they take the corner quickly, still coming forwards.
Yeah, rapid. In the top left-hand corner of the box, Garnacho ball in, another good one. Defensive headers out, another good one. Over to the far side. We'll say Trevor Chalobah just try hold this. He's been pushed to the floor. Is that going to be a free kick? Referee says no. It's consistent, I guess, with what he's seen so far. Totti Gomez has been battered into. I think what they call that in life is a receipt. So you give me one, I'll give you one. How about that? And that one's deemed illegal, and he went down like an Olympic diver.
Yeah, went down like a sack of spuds there, didn't it? Totti Gomez, Wolves skipper, and swiftly, Chalobah just runs off, doesn't he? So he doesn't really get into any trouble. Look, if he needs a yellow card, the referee will need to speak to him, of course, but again, just trying to get out of eyesight, wasn't he, more than anything? But yeah, it's a bit of frustration. You see Reece James warming up. Look, I think we'll see him in the second half. Nothing to do now unless there's obviously an injury. But I've been really impressed by him since returning really to full fitness. It was so long since he was fully fit. Oh, now he's back really firing. And this would be a good opportunity. Chelsea just have the ball. Again, it's very slow, isn't it? It's very tepid from Chelsea. And the first 10 minutes really good with Fernandes and co. But since then, they haven't let Wolves get back in it, but they've slowed themselves down a lot.
No, I think that the happier two managers is going to be James Collins. The way they've played, of course, going in as underdogs. I mean, Chelsea are the heavy favourites, and the fact that it's 0-0 will mean they will be probably more unhappy. But the way Wolves have been playing, I think it's probably to perfection the way James Collins wanted them set up and how they've been. Minus, well, here we go, Strand Larsen in behind. This is what we talked about, a long ball from deep inside the box, left-hand side. He's left the ball behind him again. He's holding it up. He's still got it inside the box. He's trying to sweep it to the near side. It's probably the wrong option in the end, and they will get away with it. But Wolves back on the ball. Totti Gomez playing it forward to João Gomez, the number 8. Moved over to the far side. Bueno up against Gusto. Just come back on the field of play. Down the line, Bueno goes for the first time this evening. Cross comes in, hit the first man in Gusto with the stretch block. That was good. Took the sting out of it. Back to the feet of Wesley Fofana and gives it back to Robert Sanchez, who kicks it long. But that is exactly what we were talking about when the man went down and we were chatting in the drinks break. Ball in behind for Strand Larsen, just to be a bit braver and running behind. They did it down to a T. But I think it's Strand Larsen when he gets the ball, his decision making, his executions, letting his team down tonight.
Yeah, 100%. It is, isn't it? Again, there's certain passes, touches that you go, do you need to make that kind of thing? So that's the level as well, isn't it? There's a ball just out to the right hand side, looking for Pedro Neto, and easily back to Johnson, who's going to press him down. Good opportunity there. And yeah, I think right now it's just, I think both teams maybe could do with half time. That's a ball into Garnacho. Here come the Blues.
They look hungry now. Ball comes across. Enzo Fernandez straight into the wall. A shot going to come in this time. Pulled and dragged. That orange wall that was in front, they were shot straight into it. Game to João Gomez on the edge of the box. The ball was slightly under his feet, so it was hard to generate the power. He's dragged it to the left, and I don't know if you agree, but I think he has to do a lot better.
100% agree with that. It's good. Once again, very heavy left-sided out of the Chelsea to a degree. Well, I say that they link up a little bit more on the left-hand side. You have João Pedro, you have Cucurella, whereas on the right-hand side, he's only watching that back at the tumble. Seeing a couple of Chelsea fans as well. They're not happy with that. They can't believe them. It's again, it's been a good first half. It's just as we said, it's been good, but just in the box, lacking a bit of quality.
That's it, and that is a shame because that was a really good opportunity for the Brazilian. Really scuffed that wide. Wolves have themselves a throw-in on the far side, just inside the Chelsea half. Just have it at the back, Sam Johnson. He's going to kick it long. Minutes played till we get to the mandatory 45. Don't find how much additional time there'd be. I could see 5 minutes, you know.
Yes,
Good. Yeah. A couple of big injuries. I could see that being added on. I'm thinking 4, but I think it may just be 5 with the Gusto injury. Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we saw, how much did we see at the Stadium Light earlier? Was it 9 at the end of the first half? Yeah. Crazy. 11 attempts for Chelsea, none for Wolves. 3 on target for Chelsea, but none for Wolves. And they need to change that, but they're showing. I don't think the stats tells you everything they need to know. They're getting good positions, but they just need to get some shots off. Totti Gomez has it just inside his own half, goes backwards. Chelsea put the high press on all the way back to Sam Johnston in his all pink attire, pink stroke purple. It's probably about in the middle of both. As he kicks it long, 4 minutes added on, so it's my original prediction. But Wolves have themselves a threat. I mean, there's no bad time to score, but imagine if Wolves scored just for half time. It'd be huge for them. Ball inside to Larsen. Good feet, that's better. Into Juan. He's been taken down actually, and that's probably the better favourable option for Wolves because they were playing it round but not much movement. Now they have the chance to push bodies forward and get the ball in the box.
Yeah, it's all about the delivery. They had a corner early, didn't they? They didn't really do anything with. Now they have this set piece, so they can do something with it. He's just clipped as he's running away by Caicedo. Again, it is actually nothing malicious, but I would call it silly and just a little bit. I don't want to say immature because it is Caicedo, but just a bit lazy maybe because he just stuck his leg out. It was easy, and now Hugo Bueno, he's usually got, I don't want to be cursed to the commentator, but usually has a good delivery, and he's got a few options to pick out. Might pick one out for a goal. As you said, you always want to score a goal, but this will be a great time, as you said.
Defensive line 2 yards in front of the D. He's dinked it down the line. It's an unorthodox ball to try and find Hwang, who's missed out against Gusto. That's a real waste. I mean, you just get the ball in the box, don't you, with the big lads they have in there. Ball in the corner for Gusto. Needs to be careful not give a foul away. Hwang, he's actually done exceptionally well. He's been pulled down 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Cucurella's whacked it long. And Chachow's going to pick it up on the far side. He's actually just going to let it run out for a throw-in to Wolves. But for me, you just get the ball in the box.
You got to, haven't you? He's just really poor. As soon as it happened, I was quite speechless.
Yeah,
I just watched it and put my hands on my head and just went.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it's what. Again, it's as you said, you're getting bodies forward, and you just make a complete mistake. Again, if you're Enzo Maresca, you'd be sat there like, is that what the plan is for them to attack? Again, I think Chelsea not fallen off, but. In the first 15 minutes, they had the Garnacho chance. Fernandes had a few pops at goal. They had a few other chances, didn't they? Just really settled, as if they've 1-0 or 2-0 up. 0-0. Wolves are really poor coming forward, but at the same time, Wolves are defending really well. Covered to Coventry versus Stoke game earlier. It reminds me of that Coventry were coming forward, had chances better than the other side, but Stoke were sitting back well and not coming forward. There are similarities between Wolves as well. I think when you look at it, James Collins will be happy with this, but I think Enzo Maresca will be really frustrated.
Minute and a half to go at the end of the first. Chelsea going to come forward for the first time in a while. It's over everyone. It's going to be thrown on the far side for the away team. Not good enough. Cucurella, that was a really poor ball in for his standards. It's going to be a throw-in for Bueno to take, who's going to take all the time in the world. And I think they'll be happy just getting the half-time level.
100%. Well, just over a minute left to go. I think both teams, because I think Maresca will want to have a word with his side as well. I think Chelsea will be happy to not make any mistakes. Again, even something simple as Fofana 2 or 3 times driving forward, wasn't it? I have not seen that in half an hour, and that was quite a good opportunity where it opened up space for Chelsea and their attacking players. I just think we'd be petering to half-time at the moment.
Yeah, no real sign of anything changing. 48 and 17 on the scoreboard. With 4 minutes added, we're very close to hitting half-time goalless. Near side for Garnacho. Inside it goes to Cucurella, 35 yards out, left flank. Inside to Pedro, didn't get the call. Man hits the deck, he's gone through his man. It's going to be a free kick to Chelsea, and this will be the last play of the first half. Correct decision for me.
Yeah, you say, gets the ball, but gets the man first, doesn't he? And it's a bit of a weird spot as well, because, I mean, the Wolves players are not happy about it. João Gomez, he's going to talk his way into a booking if he didn't already with the foul. It's a bit of an awkward position, isn't it, for the free kick, because it's a little bit far out to maybe put a ball into the box, but also it's not close enough to go for a strike at goal. But as you say, this will be the last chance of the first half. Neto and Fernandes over it. Let's see who takes.
If they can get into half-time, Chelsea they'll be very relieved. It's been a poor showing, but Wolves, heartbreak for them if that was to happen. Gone short, Gusto over to the back post. It's nowhere near anyone, and Hwang's going to clear it. Andrew Kitchen is blown for half-time. Nothing to separate the two. So far, so good for the away side. Half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Wolves 0.
half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well, but Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well. Well, Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well. Well, Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well. Well, Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well. Well, Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well. Well, Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well. Well, Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well. Well, Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho well. Top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well. Well, Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well. Well, Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's currently a stalemate. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Chelsea started the half very brightly with chances from Enzo Fernandez and a top one for Alejandro Garnacho as well. Well, Sam Johnston stood stall for most of them. Good saves from the Wolves goalkeeper. Wolves had almost chances. For example, João Gomez played in. Strand Larsen got the ball caught in between his feet. The half really petered out late on. Goalless at half-time. And it's a warm welcome back to unofficial off-tube independent studio commentary of the clash at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea hosting Wolverhampton Wanderers, and what a start for Chelsea. Ball forward into the lap. His striker saved, and it's an early corner for the Blues. Currently goalless. Ball into the box. It's not a great one from Pedro Neto on the right-hand side. He'll get a second bite at the cherry though. That's a better one into the back sticks. Nearly headed away though by Chachachao. Picked up in the middle of the field by Cucurella. Just over a minute in, it's Chelsea 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. We'll bring you the lineups in a moment. Don't believe there's been any changes to the two sides. Started how we ended the first half going into the second half. It is Pedro Neto once again starting very lively on the right hand side. That's a good tackle by Santiago Bueno. There's a battle between Hugo Bueno and Pedro Neto, along with João Pedro. Former Brighton man not too happy about that physicality shown there, but foul is given and Wolves will come away with the ball. It's myself, Lewis Raftery. I'm joined by Nathan Wastel. We've been together for a long time this evening, haven't we? We've covered the half-5 game as well. That was a belter from first whistle to last whistle. The first half I thought was pretty disappointing. The first 15 minutes was fantastic to watch. Both teams kind of going for it. Wolves set their stall out. You know, they were going to be a bit defensive, but you understand that managerless as well. Currently out there with Rob Edwards' tip to take over. Chelsea had chances with Fernandez, Garnacho as well, and I just think Chelsea never really took chance and grabbed momentum of the game.
No, absolutely not. And it's a first half that's gone away from them because they haven't got much to show for it. In the first half, of course, remains 0-0. Like we mentioned before the break, I think that out of the two managers, it's going to be James Collins that's happier of the two. He's worked his plan to perfection. Going forward, may just slightly feel like his chances just got away from them, and then they haven't taken the better of the chance, of course, down to Strand Larsen more than anyone to be a bit more clinical when he has the ball, not just in front of goal, but trying to come forward now. And they have a throw high up in the Chelsea half, and funny old game football, isn't it? That's all I'll say.
I'll leave it there. I mean, we saw some late drama at the cinema light. We could be in for late drama here. We'll have to wait and see. Only a few minutes played though. Wolves do have the ball. Looking at the stats, Chelsea 11 shots for the Blues, only 3 on target. I can assume Enzo Maresca's disappointed with that as Pedro Neto drives forward. He's nearly brought down by Hugo Bueno, but Andre is the one who does it and does bring him down. Referee brings out the card and does go for the defensive midfielder Andre. Himself and João Gomez, again, you look at yellow cards, they're two probably at the high of the list who will go into the box. So Chelsea will have a set piece ball possession, just over 70% for the Blues, and everyone loves expected goals, as I know, 0.99 for Chelsea. Wolves, game plan went well, but not a shot on target, obviously. Ball possession, 28%. But Chelsea haven't really had a real top opportunity. Those XGs went way before the first 20 minutes as well. So you have to say Wolves responded and sat well and grew into the game defensively as well. Now ball in swing from Enzo Fernandez, cleared away, so Chelsea have the ball quickly. Then it's Sanchez in goal for the Blues. Gusto for Fowler, Chalobah and Cucurella the back four. Fernandez and Caicedo as the two sitters as the ball's put into the box by Garnacho, just over the head of Gusto, and a charging in Pedro Neto. And the forward four of Pedro Neto, João Pedro, Alejandro Garnacho and Liam Delap for the visitors. And James Collins, the under-21 manager, is in charge this evening. Johnston in goal, a back three of Krejci, Bueno and Totti Gomez. Hugo Bueno, João Gomez, Andre and Chachachao as the midfield four. Bellegarde, Hwang Hee-chan and Strand Larsen are the forward three. Here comes Chelsea though. Corner, all the way back from being a threat inside the Wolves box, all the way back to Sanchez, and again, as we've said, it's independent off-tube studio commentary. We can't hear the fans at Stamford Bridge, but almost I see a corner like that happen so early on in the second half, and to me at least, I can almost hear the groans and moans at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting shots of the man, the main man himself, Cole Palmer. Would love to be out there. He missed the last few weeks. A little bit more on the sideline. Unfortunately, he misses out. He'd love to be out there tonight. He's a real game changer for Chelsea, isn't he? He's the one. Unfortunately, but yeah, it's pick up as we left off 5 minutes ago from that end of that first half. Not really much has changed. Wolves still penning in, and Chelsea struggling to get in behind.
Paulo Gusto on the ball into Caicedo. Lovely ball out to the left hand side into Garnacho. Good first touch from the Argentine. 1-on-1 against Tchak. Cuts inside, there's all the space down the byline, but the Argentine wants to cut inside on his favoured right. Now back to him, he cuts inside once again. That's a lovely ball into the back six. Gusto's there, nods it in. What a ball, what a headed finish from Paulo Gusto. Chelsea have the lead that they've desired for so long. Now it's all about, can they push on, possibly get more? How will Wolves react to this? That was a little bit too easy though. We've given credit to Wolves, how they've defended, and they've done all so well to stop Chelsea. But it's Paulo Gusto, you said in the first half, Nathan, almost given a free roll is the right back at times, finding him there in the number 9 position for the right back. Lovely ball from Garnacho, cushioned header from Gusto. Nothing Johnston could do about that. 51 minutes on the clock. It's Chelsea 1, Wolves 0.
Brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. And if I'm not mistaken, his first goal in the Premier League, he may just be. That is very tight. I mean, it's far too easy. I mean, for the amount of credit we're giving Wolves for the defending all in that first half, the hard work they've done, it's all been done by that. No one picking up Gusto at the back post. Lovely peach, but we've talked about Garnacho's deliveries tonight. Another perfect one on the head of Gusto. Very easy, about 4 yards out, across the face of the goal into the bottom left-hand corner. And now it's all up to Wolves, and if they've got a plan B for when they when they go behind, did they have a plan B for that? I'm not sure if it's gone to VAR. But it looked very close.
I think you're right, it's really close. And as you said, Paulo Gusto, first goal in the Premier League, first goal for Chelsea, 98 appearances. I'm assuming the French fullback will hope that it doesn't take another 98 to get a second for Chelsea. If it has gone to VAR, which I assume it will have to double check, it is quickly being given as a goal. 52 minutes, we're back underway. It's Chelsea 1, Wolves 0. That will really settle the nerves. Well, very similar in a different way of how Arsenal got an early equaliser in the first half, in the second half against Sunderland, because then they had a long time to go and get a winner. Now that Chelsea have early on in the second half got a lead, now they can sit and go, right, we can play our way, we don't have to rush anything. The longer they stayed at 0-0, the more frustrations would have begun, and now they have a lead.
Yeah, best thing for them, worst thing for Wolves. And from a neutral, the best thing for us, really. A goal in this game, not primarily for Chelsea, but just in general, to open the game up. You might just see Wolves get a bit more lively and a bit more braver in front of goal and really push some bodies forward.
No, I think you're right with that. From a neutral point of view, look, I think if Wolves scored, it'd be great to see how they respond and trying to pick up 3 points, which would be massive at Stamford Bridge. But you are right, from a neutral point of view, out of the defensive side in Wolves, them conceding will only open up. I'll say Maresca's almost playing cheerleader on the touchline in this second half. He isn't sitting down, and he was celebrating like a madman when Chelsea took the lead. Nothing compared to when they scored later on against Liverpool, but still very much celebrating there. Long ball forward by Wolves, picked off in the middle by Fernandes, back to Cucurella. Again, we looked at Gusto in the first half, and all eyes for me at least will be on him for his movement. There is always this inverted wing back, but he's just inverted free roll, isn't he? He's now got the ball on the edge of the area, into the path of Pedro, back heels it into the path of the Lap, strike at goal, and saved by the goalkeeper Johnston. Straight at the goalkeeper, what you'd expect, but now Chelsea seems to have a bit more of a verve and tempo about them.
Yeah, absolutely. You knew as soon as that, if one goal goes in, they'd find their groove, that's for sure. You just feel like they have. Wolves won't give it up, but you expect the Blues just to take full control of this game.
Yeah, 100%. 54 minutes on the clock. João Pedro giving away a foul there, and Wolves will get back on the ball. Of course, options in the second half is where they will look to the bench for both teams. For Chelsea, the likes of Achimpong, Tosin Adarabioyo, Adre Santos, Esteval, Jamie Gittins, Matt Gui, Hato, Reece James, of course, the skipper. Jorgensen is a backup keeper for Wolves, the like of John Arias, Arakawa, Chiera, Hover, Mane, Mosquera, Munetsi, Sarr, the backup keeper, and Wolf as well. So, very light bench in terms of at least attacking talent for Wolves, whereas Chelsea, it's just filled, with talent from attacking, defensive and midfield and all in between talent, you'd have to say. Looking at the missing players, Agbadou, of course, for Wolves, out with that red card. A few players, Doherty's out, Rodrigo Gomez is out as well. That's nearly a poor pass in the middle, but Bellegarde comes away with it. Badiashile is out for Chelsea, Colwill, as well as Lavia, unfortunately, Mudryk, of course, and as Nathan just said a few moments ago, Cole Palmer moving swiftly through the Chelsea half into Hugo Bueno down the left hand side, goes for a strike at goal, blocked well away, but again, as you said, that goal's almost just woken Wolves up a little bit. Totti Gomez has it into João Gomez down the left hand side further to Hugo Bueno. He's got Bellegarde there. It's Strand Larsen in the area as well. He had a good one-on-one there against Chalobah if the ball could have been put into the box. That was a real silly foul and a fumble, really, just tumbling over Fofana there over his defender. And what you will give there for Chelsea, that if Wolves score from this, that'll be so frustrating, because Fofana just tumbled into his opponent.
Cheap one to give away, wasn't it? There was no rhyme or reason to. He's facing towards his own goal, but 30 yards out, left-hand flank. Get the ball into the box. Don't do the stupid flick down the line like last time. It was incredibly poor. Get a ball into the box. Points dropped from winning positions this season. Who's got the most? Chelsea, with 8 points dropped. So there's vulnerability there.
There is. You'd have to say that, again, Wolves don't have a lot of confidence, but maybe things and stats like that could be a bonus for them. It will be Hugo Bueno over it. He's got Bellegarde down the byline if he wants to use him. Does swing this one into a good area, into the back post. Header back in, looking for Gomez, looking for a couple of 1-2s, just too many blue jerseys there. João Gomez throws Gusto to the floor. I thought that was a foul. The referee actually has let play go on, and they played all the way back to Krejci. He'll go back to Johnston in goal, and Wolves will get back on the ball. They're trying to just, I think, they're not a possession side of Wolves, but they do have the players, of course, and the quality to be a possession side, and just trying to maybe take the sting out of Chelsea. Chelsea may be sitting back a little bit as well, but what Wolves have to be careful of, the pace that Chelsea have on the break is astonishing. Foul there by Caicedo. That's much better from Bellegarde as well. I thought it was poor in the first half. He has looked a little bit better and in better shape in the second half. What Wolves have to be careful of, because as you said, yes, they're going to come forward more because they have to, but if they make a mistake, the pace of Garnacho, Pedro Neto and Delap on the break, that's going to be hard to counter.
Absolutely. It's the fine balance of going forward and defending. It's very difficult to do, but they're coming forward again.
Hugo Bueno down the left-hand side, puts one into the box for Strand Larsen. Chalobah just gets there. If not, and Strand Larsen was coming on his blind side as well. That's a great tackle, interception and clearance all in one, practically, from the former Crystal Palace loanee there. That was a lovely ball, and that was a lovely move from Wolves.
Absolutely, brilliant. Strand Larsen looked hungry. He started the move with a brilliant pass. That's much better from him.
Down the right-hand side to Chow, ball into the box. And what good degree, it's a good ball into the box, and if Chalobah isn't alert to that situation, Strand Larsen gets in front of him and, again, maybe not scores, but gets a shot on target at the minimum, and that's much better from Wolves. They're using the wing-backs to a lot better proficiency. Possession in the last 5 minutes, 78% for Wolves. That's how much they've had to turn. And again, my question would be that maybe Chelsea, if Wolves played like this in the first half, that Chelsea would have already scored 2 or 3, but this is quite good from Wolves. Chelsea are coming forward down the right, though, with Pedro Neto. For space, he's got a one-on-one against Hugo Bueno, tries to take it past him. He does. That's a good play from the Portuguese. Into the goal scorer, Gusto gets it caught up in his feet, and forward they will come now, Wolves, with João Gomez. He wants a foul. That's a good play from Andre, though, to take the ball away from Malo Gusto. That's a poor ball, but it was picked up by Chow on the right-hand side, trying to offer width is the Wolves, number 38. Back it goes, though, to the feet of Bellegarde, then back to Santiago Bueno. But I mean, my question would be, I'm not saying you have to play this, because it was a good game plan in the first half. It worked. You got into half-time 0-0 for James Collins, but it would be that, could you have maybe started this way?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's hard, isn't it? Because they want to be brave on the ball, but at 0-0, you've got something to defend. Whereas now, you just feel like the shackles may just come loose ever so more, but they're moving the ball well, and that's going to be a free kick to Wolves in the centre and another yellow card.
To go in the way of Moyes. Caicedo, I believe. So they are just racking up the yellow cards in this game to a degree. Now, of course, we always do say as well, yellow cards are always going to more come in the second half, aren't they, of course. But that was really good play from João Gomez there. I think him and Andre, bottom of the table in the league, I know, but as an actual duo pivot, he's probably one of the better in the league.
Absolutely, yeah, brilliant, yeah, fantastic. Carried it really well. Second yellow card of the season, picked up for Moises Caicedo. But a chance, it's hard, bad angle, very central, the free kick. But again, get it into the box. I mean, someone did it. You see how that found out there, first goal. Just hike it into a dangerous area, you don't know where it'll fall.
Sunderland were really positive with their set pieces in the earlier kick-off. Bellegarde. That's a poor one. That's a really poor one. I'd like to say it was a good attempt, but that was really poor, unfortunately, from Bellegarde.
Take him off him.
Yes, it is now driving forward now. He will go for a strike outside the area, just a whisker wide. So he can nearly put the ball in the top corner. I think that just shows what footballers are like sometimes, doesn't it? That he couldn't really even pass the ball into the penalty area, whereas there, it's not maybe as close as I first thought, but never challenging Robert Sanchez. But he nearly then puts it in the top corner with the strike at goal.
Put him on free kicks that you can shoot. Don't put him on free kicks that you can cross. Looks like maybe some first changes of the evening coming in. It looks like it's going away at Chelsea.
There will be attacking ones from the look of it. Looks like Esteval is ready to come on. Have to wait and see who he's coming on for. But right now, Wolves, they're in the ascendancy and Chelsea are second best. Chelsea do have the lead. They're just over an hour played at Stamford Bridge. It is unofficial, independent off-tube studio commentary. The Blues Chelsea hosting managerless Wolverhampton Wanderers. And they do lead 1-0 thanks to Malo Gusto grabbing his first goal for the Blues at the 98th attempt in the 52nd minute mark. And Chelsea lead 1-0. But that's under threat at the moment. As Chachachal plays it back to Bellegarde, swings a decent ball into the box, headed away by Chalobah. It was actually nearly on the head of Strand Larsen. That's a beautiful ball out to Garnacho on the left hand side. The lap's in the box, poor ball on his weaker left foot from Garnacho, tries to keep the attack alive, but Wolves have got those gold shirts back in numbers and they've won the ball. I feel for Garnacho there because I think he's not the greatest of ball, but he gets his head up and he just wants to try and play it into his teammate. I think he rushes it a little bit as well. I think he could have drove a little bit further forward and then played into the lap, and maybe could have been a bit more patient before swinging that cross into the lap. Yeah,
you see what he's trying to do. It's on his weaker left. He's trying to force it through a player. It was really poor by him. Chelsea may just get another bye at it though.
João Pedro, that is, into Garnacho in the edge of the area, back to the Brazilian. Should have taken that first time. Plays it back to Caicedo. He's happy to have a pop usually. Fakes it into Cucurella, back to Garnacho. He might cut inside and go for a strike at goal. Fernandez, lovely turn, ball across the face of goal, and it's just stabbed back wide by Krejci. That's a whisker wide from going in the back of his own net. But if he doesn't stop it, I believe the lap was there and probably would have put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, he had to take the risk. Lovely turn from Enzo. Fernandez, unbelievable on the left hand side, outside the foot.
As you said, you've got to take that risk. It will be a corner for Chelsea though. I believe it will be their 7th of the game. Only one so far for Wolves. It will be the skipper Enzo Fernandez to take. It's right into the front post. Almost goes straight out of play. Fofana does get the last touch though. Out for a goal kick for Wolves. 64 minutes on the clock and Chelsea are about to make their first change. It will be Esteval to come on and it will be Leon Delap to come off. Still coming back to fitness, of course. As you said, he picked up those 2 silly yellow cards and resulted into the suspension for the last league game against Spurs. Started today. I think he looked a little bit off the pace. Of course, that's still fitness, so to give the young forward a bit of credit. Esteval, I think he's been electric since signing for Chelsea. A great, big fan of watching him. Assuming it'll be possibly, maybe even just a 2 up top with him. João Pedro now.
Yeah, maybe. It might just be that. João Pedro might just push forward with Esteval in behind. But yeah, Delap, you can be a bit patient with it, football fans aren't, but like you say, just getting back to full fitness. Hasn't set the world alight tonight. He's been easily out-defended up there this afternoon. It hasn't gone to his all in his favour, but yeah, it's more minutes under the cap.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it's one of them where against maybe a side that opens up a little bit more, he would have had chances. Ball into the box from Pedro Neto. João Pedro takes a good few touches. Sam Johnson nearly rushed out of his goal there. Enzo Fernandez picks the ball back up. He's trying to get a little bit further forward. He's the Chelsea skipper, Cucurella. Back to Caicedo. Swings it wide to Esteval. Esteval at the moment is actually on the right hand side. 1-on-1 against Hugo Bueno. Ball into the box. Fizzed across face of goal into João Pedro. And just like that, Chelsea grabbed their second goal. Probably put it out of reach now for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Esteval comes on and gets the world going for Chelsea. Lovely ball into the box. 1-on-1 against Hugo Bueno. See you later. Ball into the box, João Pedro. First time finish, top finish as well. 65 minutes on the clock. It's Chelsea 2, Wolves 0. And where do we go from here, Nathan?
It's pretty much, you'd call maybe just game over. Wolves have done exceptionally well to keep them at bay tonight. They've played really well, and then just that first goal's unlocked the game, hasn't it? Instant impact from the substitute. João Pedro unmarked. He's the positions he wants to pick up, and he was allowed to there. Poor defending. Still a good finish into the roof of the net fairly centrally. Did well to control it first time finish, keep it down. It's absolutely brilliant. We'll have another look. Esteval right hand side, run it his man. He'll run down, pull it back, and then João Pedro, bang, first time finish. Brilliant finish. 2-0. And I could probably confidently say game.
Yeah, I'd have to think now for Wolves it's probably damage limitations, isn't it, that you're 2-0 down. You don't want to probably concede a third or a fourth, but you maybe want to go and just grab a goal and keep in safe face almost. Enzo Maresca overjoyed, and his reaction that his coaching staff and the rest of Stamford Bridge, they'll be happy, and at the moment they'll be going home with all 3 points. As Nathan said, I can't see that being any different now with a 2-goal lead, but Stamford Bridge is bouncing on this Saturday evening. Both goals coming in the second half from Paulo Gusto and João Pedro. Chelsea, they've been much better in the second half as well. It's his first goal at Stamford Bridge since August for the Brazilian. Started life at Stamford Bridge really well, of course, in the Club World Cup, and I was impressed in the first few games. His form's dipped off, but again, what I would say is, in the best ways, you feel for Maresca, because he's got so much talent. It's almost trying to find, right, where do you play the best, and then where does Esteval play the best? Okay, Enzo Fernandez, do I want you deeper, do I want you further forward? João Pedro, are you an attacking midfielder or are you a number 9? So sometimes it can just be ironing out the kinks to find out where the players play their best.
Yeah, it's keeping everyone happy as well. The unlimited amount of players in the factory at Chelsea Football Club they have. It's getting everyone game time and keeping them fit. Of course, you rotate, and you may rotate heavy, but do these players have the chemistry between themselves? Have they played a lot of minutes? It's all the balance that Enzo Maresca has to face. You were slightly worried for Chelsea at half-time, you really were, but they've unlocked Wolves, and it looks like it might just be more.
Esteval, ball down into Gusto, great tackle from Totti Gomez, the man with the armband for Wolves this evening. That was too easy to open them up, and now Totti Gomez is driving forward. That's a poor pass from João Gomez, and now he might have left a bit of space at the back. Gusto picks it up into Caicedo more centrally. They'll move from right to left with Enzo Fernandez. Garnacho's to his left. Will he go for a pop and goal? He will. Goes for a curler. Tries to curl it. It goes straight as an arrow, unfortunately, for the Chelsea skipper. If that gets a bit of curl in it, probably at least tests the goalkeeper is on target. But Esteval, he's only been on the pitch a few moments. Got the assist, as you said. But even that link-up play with Gusto, there was more life to it. And I'm not even actually really saying he came on for Delap. This is more Pedro Neto was on that position. He's already, I would say, outperformed Pedro Neto on the right.
Yeah, absolutely. Brought more to the game. Running down that right-hand side. Scored midweek as well. That young lad did exceptionally well. And then it's 2-0. With 22 plus any additional to play, it's looking like it's over now.
It looks like 2-0 to Chelsea, and they'll be happy with that. Looking at the standings, well, Wolves are way down there, still in bottom, of course, but for the time being, Chelsea will go second in the table, 6 points behind Arsenal after they dropped points at the Stadium of Light earlier this evening. Of course, as we've already spoke about, games coming up tomorrow, including City and Liverpool, as well as Bournemouth, Palace as well to play. So Chelsea might get overtaken, but in terms of coming into international break, they've done their job this evening at the moment. Double change coming up for Wolves. The first man to come off the field will be Hwang Hee-chan. Just waiting for confirmation of who's coming on for him, and also who will be the second player to be replaced. I believe it's Jean-Richard Bellegarde. He hasn't had the best of games, unfortunately, as Bellegarde. Hwang Hee-chan hasn't had the best of games either, but there's always that work rate about Hwang Hee-chan that he's always trying to put his best foot forward. Bellegarde was, but he didn't have the best of moments of this evening. But those two are off, and on in their place are Mane and Munetsi. basically like for like in sense of coming on, maybe a bit more defensive if you're going to be a little bit judgy, but as Nathan said, the 2-0 up at Chelsea, so for Wolves you just want to make sure it isn't going to be embarrassing when Chelsea go and grab another 2 or 3 and it's 4 or 5-0. You'd be quite happy at 2-0 to maybe call it quits at the moment. Ball forward looking for Cucurella, the full-back. He's seen his opposite full-back score already. I'm sure the Spaniard would love to get on the score sheet. Johnston pumps it away into the Chelsea half and Chelsea will regain possession. So you know the will be a Wolves throw which Hugo Bueno wanted to take quickly, but Fofana's gone for a jump and landed really hard on the surface, holding his lower back, so he will need some medical assistance. A bit of an awkward one for the French defender. You see all the times, eyes to go, Mane collides with him, then he just takes a bit of a heavy bump on the surface. Not as ones as we've seen today, but it is one that, of course, you will have a bit of a stinger, if you will. It's cold, of course, as we already spoke about at this time of year, so it's going to hurt a little bit more out there on the pitch and things of that nature. But we're halfway through the second half, 3/4 of this game done and dusted. It's unofficial, independent of Tube Studio commentary of the clash at Stamford Bridge. It's Chelsea 2, thanks to goals from Paulo Gusto and João Pedro in the second half. Wolves 0 to take us home. I'll pass you over to Nathan.
Thanks, Raf. As Fofana limps off the field, the number 29. He takes the batter in. There's no forgiveness in that turf. It's not like landing on a trampoline. It'll feel tough for him, especially on a cold November night in London, as the Frenchman walks off the field. And remains to be seen if he's going to continue to see out this game. As he exits, it looks like he's going to be fine as he goes off, and Wolves continue. Left of centre with Gomez. Can carry it on to the back to Bueno. Over to the far side. Wolves have it just inside their own half at present with 18 to play. Looks like we're going to finish the day in the Premier League with no away teams winning today. So no good travellers this afternoon. Plenty of football tomorrow still to play in the Premier League. Strong tackle comes in from the goal scorer of the first goal, Gusto. Throw in on the near side for Wolves, just shy of the corner flag on the near side. Bueno goes backwards. Goes all the way back to Totti Gomez. And he goes back to halfway. And they're going to hook it forward. Look, Strand Larsen, haven't done that enough. Just lofted it forward to try and find clear. Garnacho may just get on his way. Really good first touch and not a bad second. What a run this in from Garnacho. Neto's got the easiest job in the world to put it in the back of the net for 3-0. It's a lovely, lovely goal. Neto finishes it off. But all the credit has to go to the Argentine wide man. Lovely few touches. Neto goes straight over him to thank him. And that is 3-0, and that is game, set, and match.
Oh, what a goal that was, as you said, all about Alejandro Garnacho, then created it from nothing. Second assist of the evening as well after that lovely ball put right on the head of Paulo Gusto. He's put that one on a plate as well for the Portuguese winger. 6th goal of the season, his 3rd in the Premier League, and again, as you said, it's all about just finding a bit of momentum and ways. I think Neto's been quieter, but also looked a little bit better, more playing centrally with João Pedro than playing on that right-hand side. But that's great from Garnacho. It's a great first couple of touches, gets it out of his feet, then, as I said, puts it on a plate for Pedro Neto. I feel for Sam Johnston a little bit in the second half because the goals he's conceded, nothing he can do about it. Lovely player, to say, though, from the former Manchester United man. The former Wolves man, you spoke about earlier, gets on the score sheet against his side. And again, for Wolves, now it's 3-0. You just got to stop the barrage to a degree.
Yeah, and, well, Strong Larsen may want to take tips from Garnacho on how to put a ball in front of you to run and match your pace, because if he did that in the first half, it might be a different story. But temporarily, at least, for now, if it does end 3-0 to Chelsea, they will go temporarily, at least, to 2nd in the Premier League behind Arsenal, of course. Got the point away at Stadium of Light earlier this evening, as they're coming forward with Mane, the number 36, inside to Bueno, just keeping hold of the ball. And that was it. I think if Wolves wanted anything from this game, that wasn't a 0-0.
Really poor as well. It wasn't that it was a world-class goal. Look, it was a world-class delivery from Garnacho, yes. But Malo Gusto in the area. You see Sam Johnston's reaction, he couldn't believe how much room that the full-back had in the penalty area. Really poor from from Wolves, after a good first half. And since then, as you said, then Wolves have to open up a little bit, don't they? That gives Chelsea the opportunity to counter. But yeah, Wolves, you're spot on about Strand Larsen. If he takes a better few touches and rifles it past Robert Sanchez in goal, it's 1-0 Wolves, and then we do have a different evening at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, and I think Chelsea, I think Wolves are playing for pride here, because you don't want to get absolutely pumped here. That's the last thing you want, after playing so well in the first half as well.
Yeah, the first 45 were, from a Wolves point of view, bottom of the table, as perfect as it could get. It wasn't a great watch for us, of course, but Chelsea have turned up in this half and have been much the better side. And 75 minutes on the clock, 15 to go. Chelsea just have it inside their own half. Chelsea will want to score a couple more, but as you said, Wolves now, it's almost right. We need to stop this. Forward comes Enzo Fernandez.
Here he comes, ball into the box, not a bad one on the chest from Pedro, trying to take a header. It's not a bad attempt, but over the top into the hands of Sam Johnston, who's alive to it, the number 31. I've seen that many times in the modern game, do you? 31 as a keeper number, I don't mind it. He's just going to kick it long, Sam Johnston. He's not about keeping possession now, he's about getting the ball up the field. Big man Strand Larsen traps it well. Is he pulled? Referee doesn't think so. I'm deemed slightly harsh for me. But Chelsea get on with it. Gusto on the near side, the number 27. Strand Larsen just slowly picks himself up. But I think Wolves know at this point that it's pretty much done, all the way back to Robert Sanchez, who's just going to kick it to the near side. Gusto going to help it on down the line. He's missed kick down. It'll be a Wolves throw on the near side. Bueno. Inside it goes. And he took it too far forward, I think. Or there's a substitution coming on, it looks like. So Reece James is one of them. The club captain. Looks like Marlo Gusto is making way. He's had a good evening, and he's got himself a goal. Yeah, first goal for Chelsea. As a 98th attempt, as I said. I think he will want to make sure he gets one before that, won't he? But really good performance from Gusto. Again, as you said, playing right back. I know there's inverted wing backs and this and that, but really just almost go and be a nuisance anywhere on the pitch it can be. Although he's a right back, he's a top technical player, isn't he? Guehi will come on as well as James, as you said, for Gusto and Neto. And Neto's really happy with what he's done. Got the goal against Wolves, of course, as well, hasn't he? So happy to get those goals against his former side. As Nathan said, though, double change there for Chelsea. Guehi, sure he'll be looking to get himself on the score sheet as well. Also a party atmosphere maybe at Stamford Bridge. We'll have to see how the young Spaniard does. Reece James coming on as well. Got over his fitness worries in the last few years, and of course all eyes will be on the World Cup next year to get in Thomas Tuchel's side. Mane has it inside his own half. For the host, back he goes to his skipper Totti Gomez. Mane, the midfielder, dispossessed by Caicedo. Esteval looking to come forward. He'd love a goal into João Pedro. He'll go for a strike at goal. Takes a deflection. Great save from Johnston. Guehi save strike off of the post. And the Spaniard cannot believe his luck. João Pedro took a great touch and an even better one to get it out of his feet. His strike did take a slight deflection off of the boot of Santiago Bueno. That, unfortunately for Johnston, almost misled him, and he did fantastic to save it. And then as he stood up, it was in between his feet, and as he stood up, he lost that. It spun nearly into the path of the young Spaniard, and he got there first in front of Sam Johnston. Unfortunately, though, he was stretching the entire time. Watching the replay back, at first I thought he should have probably put it home and should have been a goal. But watching it back, that was really tight and really unlucky. Will be a goal kicked up for Wolves. Long ball forward for Johnston. From Munetsi, he brings down João Pedro, and the referee will give the yellow card for the substitute. So unfortunately, he's going for the ball, and Munetsi stamps on his right foot, the Brazilian's right foot. So nothing malicious. I can see why the referee. It's definitely a foul. I can understand why the yellow cards come out as well. Nothing more than that, though. Second yellow card of the season for Wolves is number 5, João Pedro. We spoke about as well, it's a very cold evening at Stamford Bridge, so you would have to say that, look, they're going to be a little bit more painful than usual as well. Chalobah has it. Inside his own half. Long ball forward into
Guihi, lovely hold-up play into Garnacho. Lovely first touch pass, and Enzo Fernandez through the legs of Jean Gomez. The nutmegs are flying around now. Reece James to Estevao, who's going to cut inside, edge of the area to Enzo Fernandez. Looks for a first-time pass back to Estevao for a 1-2. Intercepted well though by Mane. Now he's picked the ball up on the left-hand side, but Caicedo, fantastic play from the defensive midfielder, and he wins the ball back. And Chelsea, they can see the space coming forward. Garnacho will push the pace. Ball into the box. Well defended there by Chachachao. Out of play it goes for a Chelsea throw. Again, of course, leading, but you have to say that they will want 4, they will want 5. Garnacho's got 2 assists, he'd love a goal. Reece James has come on, he'd love a goal. Estevao. They'd all love goals, wouldn't they? So I don't think we might be done for goals this evening. Just over 80 minutes played though at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 3, Wolves 0. All 3 goals coming in the second half of football here at Stamford Bridge. The opener from Gusto, followed by goals from Pedro and Pedro Neto. João Pedro, that is, and then Pedro Neto. And it's the Blues who lead 3-0. Cross comes in, deflected away. Will be given as a corner. Enzo Fernandez was going to take it. He's taken all the set pieces, but Reece James, now with the armband on over the Argentine, will be the man to take this set piece. I imagine Enzo Fernandez will still be on set piece duties, possibly from other angles, but it will be an in-swinger from the Chelsea Academy product. Just whips one into the front post. A real pace on it. Cleared away back though from once where it came to James. Garnacho edge of the area. Into a centre position for Caicedo. Fine man unleashed a strike there. Headed away by Wolves only as far as another corner. Still under the cosh. Chelsea as well at this point. 3-0 to the goods. They'll want to keep this clean sheet as well. Ball into Estevao. Across the face of goal. Strike from Guihi as well. Oh my word, what an opportunity that was. It flashed across the face of it. It was an awkward one, but my word, Estevao, a real game changer, if any, into this game. He might be offside as well. But even though he's offside, I don't know if the referee's given offside or he's just going to give it as a goal kick. I know it's very awkward, it's coming in with pace, but as a striker, do you think he should, if it goes in the back and disallowed, fair enough, but should he be putting that one away?
Yeah, he has to, doesn't he? It looked for all the world like it was ended up in the back of the net. Enzo Fernandez and João Pedro made way. Fantastic. Pedro scored, but Enzo Fernandez for me is absolutely fantastic. Andre Santos comes on, the young talent, seeing more minutes in a Chelsea shirt now. And Bino Gittins, the former Dortmund wide man, comes on as well, the number 11. So fairly like for like, you'd have to say.
Well, so if I'm a Wolves defender who's defended so much in this game, to see Gittins come on with the pace he's got, I would be a little bit scared for Wolves at the moment. Chelsea, to their credit, they're not just happy with the 3 in the league, they want to go forward and they want to add some more. And you spoke about the Chelsea players and getting chemistry and so forth and so much. When you get your minutes, you've got to take advantage of them. So Gittins, he's got 83 minutes on the clock. You've got less than 10, let's just say 10 minutes with stoppage time, as here come Wolves down the left-hand side with Mane. Tracking back is Fofana. The youngster is still driving forward and he's taken down by Fofana. I thought he's pushed into Caicedo. The foul's being given against Mane, but for me, Fofana shoulder barge from behind Mane into Caicedo, who's then injured. His teammate, apologies, it's not Caicedo, I believe it's Chalobah, apologies. But that's because Mane, though, has been pushed into him by Fofana. It's really silly foul, and it's in the private parts where Chalobah has taken a bit of a knock there, so might be winded and needs a few moments, but I can see why it's a Chelsea because Chalobah's gone down, but that's all because Fofana pushed him into his teammate. I
think Andrew Kitchen's got that really wrong. I think that's a really bad decision. Mane's been absolutely shoved to the floor, body checked, doesn't he, through the back. That for me is all ends up a Wolves free kick right on the edge of the box. Might not mean much in this term of the game, but you get one, you never know. But for me, that's completely the wrong decision.
No, even at first glance, it looked that it was the wrong decision, and I think you're spot on with that. As I say, though, about looking at the Chelsea players, as it's kicked long by Robert Sanchez into the Wolves penalty area, then headed well away. As you said, there's not everyone can get minutes. That's a poor header from Cucurella. Tapped onto his Benetti. He went there, goes for a strike at goal. Just wide there from the Wolves midfielder. What a burst of pace he just showed there. Great strike, just wide. It was a poor header from Cucurella, but I won't lie, I did not know Manetzi had the jets that he does like that.
Oh, he got him on, didn't he? He didn't have to catch the shot either. It was on a bounce, which helped him. Struck right through it, really crisp. Only a yard so right of that left-hand post. Really unfortunate from him. But yeah, the pace, very impressive.
Yeah, I've seen him. I'm not saying he's a slow coach by any means, but did not think he had the pace that he just showed there. Chelsea have the ball on the right-hand side with Gittins into Esteval, looking for a team hit, looking for Guihi. Intercepted by Caicedo, and it looks like he's taken a knock for his troubles, but I actually think it might have gone the way of Wolves there. Caicedo isn't happy about it, but João Gomez is also taking a whack for his troubles as well. 85 minutes on the clock. It's Chelsea 3, Wolves 0. Latter stages of this clash on a Saturday evening at the Stamford Bridge. That's the Blues who are leading 3-0. Wolves, we already spoke about, it looks like Rob Edwards is going to be in charge, isn't it? But you've got a 2-week international break. I know most of these players will be on it, so Edwards won't have too much time with the players. But when sacking the manager and bringing someone else in, do you think the international break's a good chance or a bad chance to bring someone in?
I think it's a good chance, yeah. He gets to know his team, gets to know his players, and I think Rob Edwards, the best thing he needs to do is just say, look, whatever's happened before me, forget about it, put it behind you. Learn from it, but we go clean slate from here and we build on what we already have, which is only 2 points, but we can build on that. It doesn't help that Wolves won today, so they're 8 clear of anyone in above them in Burnley and West Ham, so they're far away from the drop. 2 points at this point in the season. Any team that's done it has been relegated. They've got a really hard battle on their hands, but you never know, with Rob Edwards and a new start, could change matters.
There's always that new manager bounce, isn't there? Wolves looked destined for relegation last year, and Vitor Pereira came in and they were one of the best sides in the league, weren't they, in the back end? We'll say, I always thought they had players like Aït-Nouri and Matheus Cunha that didn't carry them, but also to a degree they were one of the best wing backs and one of the best players in the league. Well, you can kind of get carried to a degree by them, and at least the level they were hasn't been replaced over the summer. Long ball forward, looking for Gui, intercepted well by Santiago Bueno into Krejci. Looking for options, Totti Gomez, part of that back three, but almost a left back at times, looking to drive forward and create space. João Gomez into Andre, back to Johnson. Chelsea, give them credit. A lot of these players are fresh players off the bench, of course, but pressing high and keeping that structure of how they want to play. 1-2 between Strand Larsen and Andre. Lovely ball out to the right side to Chichat. Looking for options, long ball forward into Munetsi. Looks to swing one in straight away. It's blocked away. Chichat picks it up though. His father as Andre looks to skim past 1 and 2. João Gomez is going to almost walk into the Chelsea penalty area. Back to Munetsi. Back to João Gomez. Back to the midfield. The ball into the box. Might have taken a slight deflection or not, but into the arms of Robert Sanchez. And 2.5, just under 2 minutes I should say, to go in the game at Stamford Bridge. And Enzo Maresca, I can imagine, had a few words at half time. Would have been disappointed, but how they responded and the 3 goals they got in the manner, he will be happy with his side's second half performance. Yeah,
it's the second half that's done it, hasn't it? First half was poor, never really turned up. The 45 minutes went past them. It was a waste, but then they came out second half and they've got the job done. Very well done from the Blues, and they'll go second with games to play tomorrow.
It's a good opportunity for Chelsea at the back though right now, just keeping possession, just keeping things ticking over. Reece James, Gittins, that's a poor touching pass from Esteval, poor give and go, should say. Mane into Strand Larsen, into the penalty area, goes for a strike at goal, gets all the power you want behind it, but it goes well wide of the mark. That was a good touch out of his feet there, and as you said, if he does that in the first half and he puts it in the back of the net, this could have been a different game. The Wolves fans aren't happy, and you can completely understand coming into the middle of November, dead bottom, and as you said, not really where you want to be at this time of year, and they've been there all season, but this is where it starts to really get real, doesn't it, this time of year?
Yeah, it's crunch time come turn of Christmas, isn't it? So it's creeping up on them, that's for sure. It's very early days before the manager comes in, but it's not a great start to life in the Premier League this season for Wolves, and I don't want to say they look destined to go down already after 11 games, but it's definitely not looking good.
Yes, I think, if I'm being brutally honest, last year and the year before even, I think they were quite lucky that there were 3 teams that were worse than them. This maybe was the saviour for them. I mean, I say that they finished above Tottenham Hotspur in 17 So I can't maybe there was 4 teams worse than them, although Spurs did win a European title last season. Long ball forward from Sanchez, looking for Garnacho. For the first time in a while, he's going to see out 90 minutes. Is the Argentine. Heavy touch there, booted away by Chachachao, and out of play for a throw-in. Watched a lot of him at Manchester United over the last few years. He's one of the most frustrating players to watch, because after you've seen how he plays in that second half, you can see he's got so much talent, but then, for example, you see the first half miss and the disappointing delivery in the first half. He's been such a frustrating player, but when he's on his day, he's one of the best wingers maybe even in the league. Yeah, it's just that consistency to make him great, 4 minutes added on at the end of this game. It's just that consistency throughout every game to really bring that level every game. He's hit a level and then that's his bar. He's set the standard for himself, sometimes falls below. But he's doing well. He's started life good. He's done well tonight. 4 minutes of added time, as just said. Reece James on the ball into Fofana. And this will just be 4 minutes seeing it out. I'm very happy from our point of view. We maybe could have had more if this was a tight game, but possibly due to that the officials have been kind to both sides. Gittins driving forward into Garnacho, opens up his body, goes for a first time strike. Again, you can see the confidence running through the veins of the Argentine right now. Garnacho back to Santos. Cucurella back to Gittins. And Wolves just sitting deep. They don't want to concede a fourth this late on. Sure, Chelsea would love to grab one, of course. It's swung out to James on the right hand side. Lovely ball into Gittins. Can he get the end of it? No, he can't, but it's deflected away off Hugo Bueno. There's not many players in the world that get to the end of that. It was a decent ball from James, a little bit overhit though, but Gittins, what a speedster the former Dortmund man is, and it will be a corner for Chelsea. Estevao looks like he's going to be the man to go over and take. Looks like it might be an in-swinger. Like I said earlier, I do feel for Sam Johnson in goal. He's not much he could have done for all of the goals. Taken shot to Cucurella by Estevao. Then back it goes to Caicedo. Still wide on the field is Gittins. Caicedo, and almost to a degree playing with the food at the moment at Chelsea. I know they're 3-0 up, but just toying with Wolves and just passing it around, keeping possession. So they don't make any mistakes. Flying in there is João Gomez trying to win the ball. Didn't connect with Sanchez, but he did lose his footing as he had to clear it away quickly and slipped on the Stamford Bridge surface. And going into the international break, I know we mentioned it a lot of times, but perfect win for Chelsea to set them up. They are second, of course, as you've already said. There is a couple of teams that could catch them up tomorrow, but they've done their job this week and going into it. And what a way for them to bounce back from that 2-2 draw in midweek to Karabakh. Absolutely, yeah. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Up to second, just going about their business quietly. Everyone's talking about Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City, ticking along, getting the business done now. Worried for them in the first half, going into half time, but yeah, picked themselves up, got the job done in the end. It's normal business resumes for them before after the international break. To ask you, man of the match, anyone sticks out for you? Probably Enzo Fernandez. There we go. And it pops up like clockwork. On time. It's quite 2-2 for me, that, You're right. You said Dan Ballard, and as soon as you said that, about 5 seconds later it popped up. That was more like half a second. And our broadcasters player of the match, Enzo Fernandez. So I don't know if they're on the same wavelength or they're on the same wavelength as you, but I would have to agree. I think he's been absolutely fantastic to watch. And obviously, he hasn't played the full 90. You don't need him to play the full 90. He's been fantastic as the Argentine midfielder. On the ball now with João Gomez inside his own penalty area. Reece James following him like a rash there to try and get the ball. Just about 30 seconds to play, and I can assume when it hits the 94th minute, referee Andrew Kitchen will blow for the whistle. Even Wolves are trying to slow the game down with a free kick just outside the area. Johnson almost rolls the ball nonchalantly out of his feet. He's going to go along this game. Was done and dusted probably after Jean Pedro got his second goal. The second goal of the game, I should say, and his first goal of the game. As Nathan said, though, was worrying at one point for Chelsea in the first half, but a really good comfortable victory in the second half. Coming forward, strong Larsson, good interception from Chalobah, who puts his boot through the ball, and that will be all she wrote. All 3 goals coming in the second half for Chelsea. First goal in the blue colours of Chelsea for Mauro Augusto. João Pedro got a second goal just after the hour mark, and then the third goal finished it off Garnacho into Pedro Neto against his former side. Chelsea looked not confident in the first half, but a top second half performance sees them go away with 3 goals and 3 points. Full time at Stamford Bridge.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting